Thanks for checking out another clip of the Cashflow Contractor. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. Click subscribe wherever you get your podcast.
Is it normal for the owner to work the most hours out of anybody on the team? And is that something that they should be striving to put an end to? When does that stop?
I want to add this. That question was asked by a $15 million subcontractor guy, a veterinary clinic, a publisher. Those are the people who literally asked that question. So it applies to all kinds of businesses. And is it normal that the business owner works more than anybody else? Yes. I'd like to say some people figure it out and don't do it, but I'm saying yes. Is that a good thing? Some people wear it as a badge of honor that I work harder than anybody else. And if that's what you want out of life, then yeah, it can be good. But most people who are doing it either are scared to change it or don't know how to change it or think they don't have the resources to change it, to change the outcome. And with the people that I work with, if you're in business long enough, with very few exceptions, you want to change it. You want to not be the person that's down there on the weekend, every weekend, staying later than everybody else, watching as is happening in a couple of businesses I know right now, 2 key people are on vacation and the owner's working and kind of going crazy. And we had to reschedule some things because they're working and the owner hadn't been on vacation, right? So why does that happen? Well, depending on where you are in the stage of business, and you can add to this, Khalil, you start out, you are the guy or the gal who does everything because it's you. I mean, you're raising money, you're doing banking, making those sales, you're refining the product, you're doing the marketing, or at least contracting with it. Many times, if you keep books, you're the one keeping the books. You're wearing all the hats. That requires weekends and evenings. You get to the point where you can start bringing in people to assist you. You lay off, but you might hire a contractor to do your marketing, right? Or you might hire a bookkeeper to help you, or you might hire an assistant manager and start bringing them in one at a time to do that.
Right.
That's the biggest differentiator between a small company, maybe $1 to $5 million, and companies larger than that, $5 to $50 or more million a year, is that by the time you get to that second group, you start to hire specialists. You have an accounting department, you have a marketing department, you have a production department, you have a marketing, if I didn't already say that. You've got leadership partners. You got COO, CFO, CEO, different people in different roles, and they tend to be specialized and professional. But until you reach that point, it falls back on the owner, most generally, all of those functions. And when I talk about most being that way, the reason I say that is there are more than 30 million companies in businesses in the United States. And it used to be 4%. I think it's more now. Maybe 8% ever make it to $1 million in sales. So everybody that's under that is likely working more than anybody else in the business.
Yeah. I think that you're right. Just to give a different vantage point of it. Yes, when you start, you're going to be the one doing everything. You're going to be working the most. You might be the only person working. As you add people, ideally, one, you need to, what's the first question you ask somebody whenever they start coaching with you, Warren?
What do you want?
So you got to know what you want. If you want to be working 60 hours a week and you love the job, whatever it is, that's great. Do what you want. If you want to be the owner of a business or be the leader of a business rather than being a worker inside of the business, then know that what you want, know where you're trying to go. And I think for a lot of people, what I think is most valuable for people to understand is that they have to be thinking about higher leverage work in their business, right? So it's okay. I mean, I work a lot, but I try to always be doing something that's higher leverage, meaning I could sit here, like we have a podcast agency as one of our businesses. I could be the one to sit here and edit this podcast, right?
Yeah, you'd save some money too.
I'd save some money.
a couple $100.
Yeah, it's a little more than that, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'd save some money. So I don't do that because it would be way higher leverage for me to make decisions about, oh, hey, if we buy this software, we can save some money, but we can also do it 5 times as fast. Oh, hey, if we incorporate AI into this part of the process, it will streamline how we do things and actually make it better. Going and closing a long-term deal where we're managing a podcast for 3 years would be a higher leverage activity than me sitting there and editing the podcast, right? Eventually, working on our finances and looking over them and seeing where we can cut expenses to increase profit, right? Or making an investment in something like just recent. I mean, there's just so many things that we could do there, right? And then it's like, oh, well, hey, I could actually work on a partnership with a podcast booking agency that brings in more deals. So I'm not actually doing sales. I'm looking at higher level of how we can create partnerships that will drive revenue, right? And so I can keep doing that over and over and over again, where I'm just working on higher leverage things. The same thing will happen inside of any construction company where you can focus. I mean, we've talked to some really brilliant people that focus on pricing changes, that focus on route optimization, or focus on changing, having a diversified amount of suppliers to where they can get, better pricing depending on what season it is and supply and demand and all these different, like there's higher leverage things that they should be doing in the business. And I'm all for it. If you're working on high leverage tasks and you're working a lot, that's great because that will compound. But it'll also allow you to step back every once in a while, right? Where you figure out what's high leverage in the business. And you know that if you do one meeting with your team, that it can change the trajectory of the company. And so you just do that one meeting and you let them run, right? So anyways.
So kind of the question comes to why do people not do it? And we've been touching on it. I think the first one is what I said earlier, that it's an identity. People like to tell you that, man, I can't do that. I'm at the office all weekend, or man, I pulled 12 hours yesterday or 14 hours. So there is that identity, and you just have to decide around that. The second thing is there's always a capital cost to what we're talking about here is delegating, getting it into somebody else's hand. And I call it a capital cost. I mean, it can be actual money, but it's an upfront investment of your time to get somebody started and trained so that you can turn them loose. So I'm willing to make that capital investment. I'm willing to hire somebody or train somebody in my company, but not today because I'm busy. Right? No, you have to find time to make that capital investment. Another one is an actual financial issue is you really don't make enough money to hire somebody or to pay somebody to, a higher rate for higher level work because you don't make enough. You've got thin margins and you don't make enough money and you're reluctant to do that. Well, okay, if you're willing to work Saturdays for the rest of your life, you don't need to. If you want to replace yourself with adequately staffed company, you got to make enough money to do that, which means you got to go in there and raise your prices and just do the things that you do. And if you continue to do it yourself and you've got a high-level administrator job that you're doing as a CEO or the owner, you are subsidizing your business.
100%.
You're actually lying to the world. And by the way, if you want to go sell it, buyers will look for this and they're going to know.
Good luck.
And so, you're doing all the work that a CFO would have to do, and you do need a CFO. and they cost 150,000. So we're dinging you for 150 right there, right?
Yep.
Price isn't going to hold up.
No, you've got to think that it may be better off for you to do half the amount of work with less staff and reduce your expenses greatly, because then your jobs will be profitable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And yeah. You make more money working less, which is what you were talking about. That is leverage, which is another word for efficiency.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for checking out a clip from the Cashflow Contractor. We have full episodes where we go deep on topics that help you grow a construction business that runs without you, so you can have less stress, more time, more money. Now, we've got other videos, other clips, but if you want to check out the full episode for this clip, you can click wherever our editor put it. It might be here, might be there, might be over my face, I don't know. But thank you for checking us out. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. So subscribe or check out a full episode wherever you get podcasts.